मैं हूं लक्ष्मी रंगराजन. Today we are going to discuss about a latest news, which is the arrest of a Jesuit priest by name Stan Swami. NIA has arrested Father Stan Swami for his connection with the Maoists and his involvement in the Bhima Koregaon case. You could have seen in our newspapers, they recently carried the picture of an old man, a Jesuit priest by name Stan Swami. He was arrested by the NIA for his links to 2018 violence in the Elgar Parishad Bhima Koregaon case. Media carried the narrative accusing the NIA and the government for vindicting a frail old man, a Jesuit priest, a well-known tribal activist on false grounds. There were also protests carried out by the Christian institutions in different parts of the country. All this you could have seen in the news, newspapers, TV, debates, YouTube channels. Okay, what exactly is this Bhima Koregaon case? And why is a father, a religious person, arrested in this regard? Let's refresh our memory. आप लोगों को पता है 31 दिसंबर 2017 में पुणे के शनिवार वाड़ा में एक इवेंट हुआ था जहां बीमा कोरेगांव लड़ाई की जीत के 200 साल 200 साल पूर्ति होने के वार्षिक दिवस मनाने के लिए एक मीटिंग हुई थी. वो है एल्गर परिषद. उधर एक 6 तांबों में देयर वर इवेंट्स गोइंग ऑन. लगभग 35,000 लोगों ने अटेंड किया. मगर इसमें हुआ क्या? अंडर द नेम ऑफ कमोमरेटिंग एन हिस्टोरिकल मोमेंट देयर वर इनसाइटिंग स्पीचेस pitching people to come forward to topple the government, Hindu caste divisive plays, all kinds of anti-India things were showcased. In this meeting, independent MLA Jignesh Mevani quoted that caste annihilation would not be achieved in the assembly or parliament but on the streets. So under the name of commemorating an historical event, under the name of celebrating an historical event, what was happening? All against India and all against the government. On the next day, yani Nav Varsh, January 1, 2018 में violence broke out, leaving 28-year-old youth dead and 3 others were injured. Stone pelting, property loss, and finally Section 144 was imposed in and around Pune, Aurangabad. Pune police made a charge sheet of 5,000 pages in which it says, Elgar Parishad had been organized with inspiration, money and direction of the Maoists. हम नहीं बोल रहे, ये पुणे पुलिस के चार्ज शीट ने बोला. Pune police said that it is a part of a larger conspiracy. मतलब it is not a organic event. It is an organized event. It is a organized violence. ये organic violence नहीं, मतलब जहाँ under the fit of a mood 4 or 5 people gathered and they started violence, ऐसा नहीं. It is a very much organized violence. पुणे पुलिस ने कहा. They told it is a larger conspiracy to overthrow the democratic system in the country and the accused were working in that direction. That is what their charge sheet had claimed. In August this year, there were many arrests of urban Naxals were made. And all the lines led to one dot, to the CPI Maoist, CPI-M. It is a banned outfit by the Indian government. Now this man, Father Stan Swami, is also arrested in this connection. NIA officials said investigations established that Father Stan Swami was actively involved in activities of the banned Communist Party of India Maoist, CPI Maoist, and he was actively involved in their activities. The agency also told that he is receiving fund from the CPI Maoists. They also added that he was in touch with the other accused in the Bhima Koregaon case. They also seized document proof, propaganda material, many electronic evidences from his house. They also seized one letter quoted by Stan Swami saying, in order to bring down the democratically elected Indian government, we have to mobilize Dalit and Muslim forces. He is happy that it is taking part in many parts of the country and in fact it is shaping up very well in Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Kerala and Maharashtra. ये फादर स्टैन स्वामी का एक एनजीओ है PPSC के नाम पे, Persecuted Prisoners Solidarity Committee. NIA says it is a frontal face of CPI Maoist, which receives funds under the name of tribal upliftment and distributing it to trigger Breaking India forces. This PPSC is an organization, is NGO, is funded by German Catholics, and also along with him, Rona Wilson, a Christian Dalit activist, was also arrested for co-conspiring to kill the Prime Minister of India. मगर दोस्तों, you can ask, ठीक है, this is one of an instant. ठीक है, एक आदमी को अरेस्ट किया, उनको गिरफ्तार किया. He happened to be a Christian. The NIA has established the link with Maoists. Law will take its course. Why are you bringing religion inside this? That might be your question. मगर दोस्तों, I can tell you, our memory is very, very short-lived. This Naxal Church nexus, this Naxal Church NGO nexus, this is not the first time they are getting caught. And mind you, India is not the first country to suffocate under this nexus. Well, I can say that there is truly an understanding between the church and Naxal. आप पूछ सकते हैं, सच में is there really a link between the Naxal movement, Maoist movement and the church? Let's check out. Let's check out through news. Let's check out some facts. See, these NGOs operate in tribal and Adivasi region. They are very active in the tribal and Adivasi regions of Orissa, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra. So let's see few cases one by one. Case 1. The question of this church Naxal link gained momentum first when Swami Lakshmananand Saraswati. Swami Lakshmananand Saraswati was a Hindu saint, a social worker in the Kandhamal district of Orissa. He was killed by 30 plus assailants in August 2009. Along with him, 4 of his associates were also killed. The CID, Inspector General of Police, who investigated this case, endorsed that this is a well executed plan. It's a highly professional killing with the involvement of 150 plus people. Swami Lakshmananand, he himself is a Dalit by caste, and he's a very highly respected figure and a proponent of tribal rights, their rights on the land, their culture. Most importantly, he was an anti-conversion crusader. He also conducts regular Garvapsi camps, and he was a big obstacle for the Christian missionaries to convert in this area. Upon investigation, the CID IG reveals the convict Maoist head Sabyasachi Pandey confirmed that they were hired to kill Lakshmananand Saraswati by the missionaries, as he was responsible for forced reconversion of the Dalit Christians. The state Maoist chief made it clear that they were angry with the Hindutva outfits for conducting forced reconversion. There were many articles which also came out in this regard. So this is case number 1. This is the case number 1 where the Naxal and the church links, came out in public. Case number 2, Nagaland. Nagaland was predominantly a tribal area, and consistent religious conversion by missionaries resulted in 89% of Christian population in 2001. When we got independence, they were just 7%, and now there are 89% Christians. Same is the case of Meghalaya. Meghalaya has over 80% of Christian population. The NLFT, the National Liberation Front of Tripura, is fully backed by the Baptist Church. Baptist Church, which is based in USA. Do you know that NLFT, like Muslims, issues fatwa against the Hindus, against celebrating traditional festivals, Hindu practices, and they even kill tribal priests, not the upper caste priests, the tribal Adivasi priests. They prohibit Hindu women from wearing bangles, sporting a bindi also. The secretary of Naupara Baptist Church was arrested with huge explosives. You can search yourself for the 2002 Makar Sankranti killings in Tripura, and you know for yourself how deep is the link between these Naxal groups and the church is. So this is case number 2. And case number 3. I hope many of you would have heard about the Patargarhi movement. Patargarhi movement, this is an ancient practice by the tribes, where they plant stones in memory of the departed. In this case, the Maoist missionary nexus misuses this traditional practice to incite people against the state and destabilizing the harmony of the society. They keep on telling that the Indian government has done nothing to you, you are not Indians, you are more of tribal people, someone who is associated with nature. They keep on instilling these thoughts. This latest incident of Patargarhi was noticed in April 22nd in Jashpur district of Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh, the village bordering Jharkhand. A section of STs installed stone pillars at the village entrance, saying they claimed that neither Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha but their Gram Sabha is supreme. So none of the Indian laws will apply here. And do you know that the entry of MPs, MLAs, government officials, police is completely prohibited? Such activities were also reported from different areas in Bastar district, Sarguja. So, seeing this, the police, the Chhattisgarh police, took immediate action. They arrested 8 people, including a retired IAS officer, a retired ONGC official. Both these officials are said to be working with the Christian missionaries after their retirement and have been actively involved in the Patargarhi drive in areas of Jharkhand and Odisha villages. See, Patargarhi is not merely an expression of anger by some tribals against the administration following some developmental issues. It is a well planned conspiracy in which the church, Naxals, and Maoists and other anti India elements come together. Their objective is not just to attract the attention of national and international media, but to create some serious disturbance in the scheduled tribe districts of states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh. These places have a strong Banawasi population. So their immediate target was to topple and also work against the Lok Sabha polls during 2019. There are also many articles which came out about this Patargarhi movement. So this is case number 2. The third case is just search for Kunti gang rape in Jharkhand. In Jharkhand, 5 social activists were gang raped by Naxals. The Naxals were hand in glove with the local church. Father Alphonse was arrested in this case. And what is more severe, what is more dangerous is that the father and nuns, all of them threatened the victims not to divulge this incident to their family members or they could get their family members killed. So now you can see the link between the church and the Naxal movement. So this is another case number 4. In November 2013, Deccan Herald published a news about Maoists raising money through NGOs in tribal areas. So all these are the tribal areas where the Christian NGOs are very, very active. Another case number 5. West Bengal government in 2016 through its intelligence bureau confirmed that Maoists are taking helps of NGOs who are posing as social workers. This article came in DNA India. Next case. Mumbai Intelligence Bureau census 56 NGOs are raising funds for Naxals in the state. All these NGOs belong to 2 umbrellas. एक तो Tactical United Front and AIPRF. ये article भी DNA India पे आई थी. Another one. In 2013, it was found out that foreign funds received by missionaries help Naxals even contest elections in India. How terrible is that? Can you imagine in any other country, who are against the government, trying to contest elections? Will this happen anywhere else? But here, Naxals and their supporters, they even get unanimously elected in panchayat elections. See, last but not the least, recently the whole country was petrified by the Palghar Sadhu killings. Everybody knows the details about the case. Do you know that there is a missionary hand behind the Palghar Sadhu killings too? There is a missionary hand behind this Palghar Sadhu killing. Palghar is a hotbed of tribal Christian conversion with missionaries. They enjoy enormous support from the left wing and the Naxal groups in this region. Evidences say that the left wing local leaders' presence was noticed when the lynching took place. Shiraz Balsara, the head of an NGO named Kashtkari, which has links with the Christian missionaries, he was the one who is working for the bail of those arrested in this case. This NGO has close links with Oxfam India, again. And in September 2018, a Christian Naxalbari association was arrested in the Siliguri corridor of West Bengal, again a Christian dominated region. See, in all these cases, you can see a common thread of missionaries, NGOs, Naxals, the deadly combo, to break India. These break India forces are working for a common cause, to decimate the Hindu cultural identity from the country. The aim is to create hatred and divide the dominant non-converted community. There have been several instances, especially in northeastern states, where an armed struggle was created to achieve this cause. It took a while for the Indian government to realize how deep-rooted this problem was. At first, these agitations and armed struggles were viewed as mere political or developmental problems or a law and order problem. However, it came to light that this is a part of a larger conspiracy hatched abroad. ये सब ऑर्गेनिक प्रोटेस्ट नहीं है, मगर ये सब ऑर्गेनाइज्ड प्रोटेस्ट है. So many Hindus who have converted into Christianity were brainwashed into believing that Christianity is a superior religion. Eventually they have to break away from the Hindu dominant India. So that is the kind of thought these missionaries instill on the on the minds of recent converts. So they run an effective propaganda to make Hinduism appear evil. And in another case, there was a special operation team. They busted a Naxal camp in Ladpadar Reserve Forest in Orissa Kandhamal district. They discovered 15 kg of explosives, detonators, multimeters, black caps, rechargeable batteries, and a lot of Bibles. The picture was all over the media, and this is another case. You would be surprised to know, like they don't even leave the southern states. In Satyadipam is a Catholic weekly published from Kochi. The bishop, he himself admits that Maoists are sympathetic to the church and they always support the priests in carrying their missionary activities. So, where can you see all this is going? Where are the dots getting connected? So, ye sab, they are leading to the conclusion that the church, Maoist, and the Naxal nexus is very, very deep rooted in this country. And we also doubt that there is a China hand also behind this. China doesn't want a strong and stable India. So what is the easiest way to destabilize India and to divide India? Use the existing break India forces. And Christian missionaries with almost endless money, unimaginable amount of money, they are perfectly placed to do this job. Northeast India is now completely Christian. China has easy reach to these areas. They can easily support all these activities. So this Naxal church is toxic, not only to India. आप नहीं सोचेंगे कि don't even think that India is the only country to suffer from this link. This problem of Naxal and the church link has created problems in Sri Lanka, Burma, Nepal. They defame the native religions, they promote Christianity. In a small country like Nepal, Christian missionaries pumped 10 to 15 billion dollars every year for Christian conversion. They even managed to get a ministry in Nepal. They reached out to the Magar community to work for their cause. Not only that, Prachanda, the leader of Maoists, openly declared a massive gathering of Christians at open theatre that those who oppose secularism would be kidnapped. Prachanda himself is a converted Christian. Now, you can see the link clearly. There are many articles which we have given in this video, which has come in various newspapers proving this link. So, religious conversion and Naxalism are the two means by which Christian missionaries are trying to destroy India. Also, another thing would have noticed that these Naxals will never attack churches. There are Hindu organizations, there are Christian organizations, both are working in areas of tribals. But both are doing work, both are giving education, both are doing social service. But you can see that they never attack the churches or the pastors. Every time those who are getting attacked is from the Hindu activist organizations. So you can clearly see the link. So this is a very deep-rooted link which has to be nipped in order to maintain the integrity, the sovereignty of our Mother India. Jai Hind. Thank you.